There are moments when the air feels heavy, when something unseen presses closer, and you sense it is not by chance. For those who carry the mark of the chosen, resistance always comes. Not because you are weak, but because you are burning too brightly. In the wisdom of Shaolin, the brighter the flame, the stronger the winds that rise to challenge it. Tonight we step into the hidden current of September 21st. Forces move, quiet yet powerful, shaping the path of those who are called to awaken. You may think danger comes from outside, from storms or enemies, but the deeper truth is this: what moves against you is responding to your own light. It seeks to test it, to bend it, sometimes even to extinguish it. In this video, you will learn how to recognize the true nature of that resistance. We will walk through Shaolin teachings rarely spoken of, how awareness can be carried like armor, how stillness becomes the greatest strength, and how discipline refines the spirit when chaos knocks at your door. You will see why opposition is not punishment, but a secret fire designed to sharpen those who are chosen. Stay until the end, because only there will the hidden thread be revealed. The reason why September 21st is not just another date, but a moment where destiny calls for steadiness and clarity. If you carry these teachings, danger will not crush you, it will carve you into something unbreakable. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets the path of mastery. If these teachings speak to your spirit, subscribe now, so you continue to walk with us on this journey of awakening. There is a saying in the temple: the blade does not know its own sharpness until it strikes against stone. In the same way, the spirit of a human being does not know its strength until it meets resistance. Many see danger as a punishment, an intruder that comes to steal peace, but Shaolin wisdom sees it differently. What threatens you is also the mirror that shows you what still lies hidden within. Think of the disciple who enters the hall of training. He believes himself strong after years of practice, but when he faces his first true opponent, his heart races, his breath shortens, and fear begins to whisper. It is not the opponent that defeats him, it is the reflection of his own doubt rising to the surface. The danger simply revealed what was already there. The same happens in daily life. When you feel shaken by betrayal, the pain does not come only from the act itself, but from the attachment you held, the expectations you carried, the wound that had never been healed. The event is only a trigger. The real battle is with the shadow inside you. In Shaolin teaching, this is not a curse, but a gift. The mirror does not lie. It shows you where you are still bound, where the mind is still restless, where the heart is still clinging. Without these encounters, you would walk believing you had already mastered yourself. With them, you are forced to look deeper. Danger is not just the hand that strikes, it is the silent teacher, holding up the reflection of your own unfinished work. When you meet it with awareness, you begin to see the threat was never only outside, it was also the doorway within. There is a reason the old masters compared awareness to armor. A warrior does not wear armor only when the enemy is visible. He wears it because he knows the unseen arrow can fly at any time. Mindfulness works the same way. It is not simply sitting in stillness or drawing a calm breath. It is the quiet readiness that protects the mind from invasion. On September 21st, the currents that move around chosen ones will not be gentle. Energy stirs, restlessness, fear, and doubt. If the mind is unguarded, these forces slip in unnoticed. One thought becomes many, and soon the spirit bends under weight that does not belong to it. Awareness is the shield that prevents this. By carrying it into every step, every word, every silence, you stop the arrows before they enter. In the Shaolin halls, young disciples are taught that awareness is not something to be practiced only during meditation. It must walk with you like a shadow. When sweeping the floor, awareness is there. When lifting water, awareness is there. This constant attention builds an inner discipline stronger than any wall of stone. Fear cannot take root in soil that is already tended. When the chosen one notices a thought, the moment it arises, it loses its power. Like a spark caught before it becomes flame, fear dissolves in the light of observation. To carry awareness as armor means living with the steady knowledge that nothing passes through you without your seeing it. It means guarding the gates of the mind with calm discipline, knowing that the true battle is not in the world outside, but in the silent chambers within. On this path, danger may approach, but it will find no doorway to enter. The masters often say that the mind is like a vessel of water. When it is steady, the surface reflects the sky with perfect clarity. But when it shakes, waves scatter the reflection, and the water spills over its edges. This is how energy is lost, through restlessness, through thoughts that run without direction. In times when opposition grows stronger, those hidden forces sense where your vessel is unguarded. They are drawn to the cracks where focus leaks away. A restless mind becomes like a broken jar. No matter how much strength you pour into it, little remains. This is why Shaolin training begins not with striking, but with sitting. The disciple first learns how to return the mind again and again to the breath. With each return, the vessel is sealed, the energy gathered. There is an old story of a young monk who sought to master the spear. He trained every day, yet his movements lacked power. The abbot watched silently and then asked, "Where is your mind when the spear is in your hand?" The boy admitted it was on victory, on failure, on the eyes of those who watched him. The abbot placed the spear down and said, "Until your mind rests where your body is, your energy will always escape you." Gathering focus is not about forcing silence. It is about guiding the wandering mind back home, the way a shepherd brings back the sheep. Each time it returns, strength grows. Discipline becomes natural, like breath itself. When the mind is whole, no energy is wasted. Those forces moving against you find nothing to feed on. They strike at the surface, but the vessel remains full, sealed, unbroken. In this stillness, true power quietly gathers. There is a reason the temple bells sound before the sun rises. While the world still sleeps, the monks are already awake, moving into practice. Cold air stings their skin, silence wraps around them, and yet their bodies bow, stretch, and strike. It is not comfort that shapes them, but the steady rhythm of discipline. Each dawn is a reminder that mastery is not given. It is earned through the willingness to face what is difficult. For the chosen ones, the path is no different. Inner discipline is not about harshness, but about constancy. It is the choice to meet the mind before the day begins, to direct thoughts before they scatter, to walk with intention rather than drift. This quiet structure becomes the frame that holds everything together when life begins to shake. In the ancient teachings, chaos is described as a storm. Those without discipline are like trees with shallow roots, easily torn down when the winds rise. But the one who trains daily, who builds inner order through simple, repeated practice, becomes like the mountain, unmoved, enduring, steady. There is an old lesson of a monk who complained of fatigue, of hunger, of pain in his legs during training. The master replied, "When comfort rules you, chaos will defeat you. But if discipline rules you, chaos will have no weapon." These words remain true beyond the monastery walls. Discipline is the invisible shield. It is not seen in dramatic moments, but in the quiet choices repeated over time. Rising early, watching the mind, guiding the breath, keeping to vows, each act lays another stone in the wall of inner strength. When the storm comes, this wall does not fall. Instead, it becomes the fortress where peace can remain untouched. A traveler once sought wisdom from an old Shaolin monk. He spoke of enemies who conspired against him, of storms that ruined his harvest, of events that seemed to crush his spirit. The monk listened patiently and then asked, "Tell me, when the storm passed, did it carry away your mind as well?" The traveler paused, unsure. The monk continued, "If your roots are shallow, the storm will always win. But if your roots are deep, no wind can touch what lives within." This is the heart of the teaching. The world outside will always move. People will betray, seasons will shift, events will rise and fall like waves. To believe that peace depends on these things is to live in constant fear. The Shaolin path teaches that the true battlefield is not in the outer world, but in the silent ground of the mind. When the mind trembles, even the smallest storm feels unbearable. But when the mind is steady, even the greatest chaos cannot uproot you. The body may be struck, the world may change, yet the center remains untouched. This is the inner mastery. The masters sought not invincibility against the world, but unshakable stillness within it. There is strength in training the body, yes, but greater strength in training the mind to see clearly, to hold steady, to return again and again to balance. When thoughts rise like thunder, awareness observes without being carried away. When fear knocks, discipline answers with calm breath. In this way, the chosen one learns that safety does not come from controlling storms. It comes from mastering the inner ground, the place no hand, no wind, no event can reach. When this is realized, danger loses its power. In the old training halls, there were times when a young disciple, eager to prove himself, would strike with force again and again. His movements were sharp, his energy restless, his eyes full of fire. Across from him, the elder master stood unmoving, feet planted, gaze steady, body calm. The more the disciple attacked, the more his own strength scattered until exhaustion overtook him. Only then did he realize it was not the master's power that defeated him, but the master's stillness. Stillness has always carried a quiet authority. To the restless, it is unsettling. They expect reaction, conflict, movement to match their own. But when none comes, their energy turns inward, exposing their own imbalance. This is why the ancient path teaches that stillness is not weakness. It is the highest expression of discipline, the ability to hold the sword but not raise it until the right moment. Breathing becomes the doorway into this state. Each inhale anchors the body, each exhale clears the mind. With every breath observed, the inner waves settle and clarity rises. From this space, action is not driven by fear, impulse, or anger. It is chosen with precision, like a stone dropped into water at just the right point. The storm outside cannot shake the mountain. In the same way, the chaos of others cannot disturb the one rooted in stillness. By sitting, breathing, and observing, you learn to step out of the traps of reaction. You become untouchable not because nothing happens around you, but because nothing shakes what is within you. This is the mastery the restless cannot grasp, the power to act only when necessary, and to let stillness itself become the most unshakable form of strength. In the forge, a blade is placed into the fire again and again. Heat softens the metal, the hammer strikes, and sparks fly. At first, the blade is rough and weak, unable to hold an edge, but through fire and pressure, it becomes something unbreakable, sharp, and enduring. The Shaolin masters saw human life in the same way. Trials are not accidents. They are the fire that tempers the spirit. For the chosen ones, challenges rise not to destroy, but to awaken. Each difficulty strips away what is unnecessary. Each setback shapes the core more precisely. Without fire, the blade remains dull. Without trials, the spirit remains untested. The pain of resistance is the sign of transformation at work. There's a story of a monk who once prayed for an easy path. His master shook his head and said, "A blade that never meets the fire will break at the first strike. Do you wish to remain fragile, or do you wish to endure?" The monk understood then that the very struggles he feared were the tools that would make him whole. Endurance is not about gritting teeth in silence. It is about holding clarity when the fire surrounds you. Fear says the flames will consume you, but wisdom knows they are refining you. The moment you stop resisting, you begin to see the fire as ally, not enemy. When the trial passes, you do not emerge as the same person who entered. Something is shed, something is sharpened, something is awakened. This is why Shaolin calls it the tempering fire. To endure with awareness is to step out of the forge, stronger, brighter, and prepared for what lies ahead. There is a moment in every path of growth when the old self begins to tremble. It senses its time is ending, and like a cornered animal, it resists with all its strength. This is why opposition rises most fiercely when transformation draws near. The ego, built from years of habits, fears, and attachments, does not want to dissolve. It clings to familiar patterns, even when they bring suffering. The Shaolin Way teaches that mastery requires a kind of death, not of the body but of identities that no longer serve. Just as a snake sheds its skin, the practitioner must let go of outdated forms of self. Yet this shedding is not gentle. It stretches the spirit, presses against comfort, and demands patience. There is an old tale of a monk who carried a heavy jar of water each day. One morning the jar cracked, spilling half its contents. He grew frustrated, wanting only to patch the jar and preserve it. His master told him, "The jar has served its time. To cling to it is to waste your strength. Release it, and you will carry a new vessel." The lesson was clear: what once carried us may become the very weight that holds us back. Facing transformation means stepping into discomfort. The mind whispers that without the old identity there will be nothing left. But in truth, what dies is only illusion. What remains is sharper, lighter, closer to the essence. Mastery is not the preservation of who you were, but the courage to release what you are no longer meant to be. When the old self falls away, the chosen one steps forward, unburdened, disciplined, and open to the deeper strength that waits beyond resistance. In the valleys beneath the temple, mountains rise in silence. They do not chase the clouds, nor do they resist the storms. They simply stand, rooted, steady, unshaken by the winds that roar around them. This is why the masters often compared the disciplined mind to a mountain. It does not move with every passing gust. It holds its ground with quiet strength. On September 21st, the chosen ones are asked to walk in this way. The currents of energy may stir, fear may whisper, chaos may knock at the door. Yet the call is not to fight the winds, but to remain unmoved by them. Fear gains power only when it finds you swaying. When you stand firm, it has nowhere to land. In the old training halls, disciples practiced standing meditation for hours, feet planted, spine tall, eyes soft. At first the body trembled, the mind raced, the urge to move grew unbearable, but with each breath, something deeper awakened. Stillness took root. The body became heavy like stone, the mind wide like the sky. Through this practice, they learned what it meant to walk as the mountain. The lesson is clear. True strength is not found in constant motion or reaction, but in the ability to hold your ground when the storm arrives. Just as the mountain does not need to prove itself against the wind, the master does not need to answer every challenge. Presence itself is power. When chosen ones embody this steadiness, the winds of fear lose their force. The storm may rage, but within there is calm soil where no root can be pulled out. To walk as the mountain is to carry peace as your foundation and to let the world move while you remain anchored in your center. There is an old teaching that says, even the hand that strikes you can become your teacher. To the untrained eye, danger looks random, like a storm with no direction. Yet Shaolin wisdom, joined with deeper spiritual truth, tells us that nothing stirs without reason. Every movement carries a purpose, even if it hides behind fear, conflict, or pain. Consider the enemy. It may come as a rival, as betrayal, as the weight of unforeseen trials. At first, all you see is the threat. But if you look deeper, you will notice what it draws out of you. Courage you did not know you carried, patience you had not yet practiced, strength that would have stayed dormant without pressure. In this way, the enemy is not only opposition, it is also invitation. There is a story of a disciple who was constantly challenged by another monk. The tension between them grew until he sought guidance from the abbot. The master replied, "Do you not see? He sharpens you each day like a whetstone. Without him, your edge would remain dull." The disciple left with new eyes, realizing that what he called an enemy was in fact the tool that shaped him. When viewed through awareness, danger is no longer chaos. It becomes part of a hidden order, one designed to awaken, not to destroy. The fire, the rival, the storm, all have their role in tempering the chosen one. To resist this truth is to suffer. To accept it is to rise. For every force that moves against you, there is a silent wisdom guiding it. Even in conflict, the path of mastery is unfolding. And in seeing this, fear dissolves, replaced by clarity. Nothing moves without purpose. On this path, every challenge that rises before you carries a hidden meaning. The storms, the conflicts, the fears, they are not here to break you but to shape you. When you hold to awareness like armor, when you practice discipline like breath, when you choose stillness over restlessness, you discover that the true battlefield is always within, and it is there that mastery is won. On September 21st and beyond, remember what seems like danger may only be the fire that tempers you. Let each trial remind you of your strength. Let each moment of fear become a doorway to clarity. Carry this wisdom into your daily life, whether in your work, your relationships, or your solitude. In every small act of mindfulness, in every choice of discipline over distraction, you are already refining yourself. May you walk steady like the mountain. May you face resistance as teacher, not enemy. And may you find peace in knowing that nothing moves against you without also awakening something deeper within you. Thank you for walking with us today. If these teachings speak to your spirit, give this video a like and subscribe to our channel, Shaolin Soulfire, where the flame of ancient wisdom continues to guide the chosen.